I believe it's still good afternoon. My name is Paula, and it was very difficult choosing a topic, a direction, when you're given a blanket topic. So we decided to look at IP and product branding for SMEs in Eastern Africa. Basically Sudan, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and Rwanda. Also, another challenge is that I think Ms. Tunu has done what I wanted to look at, justice. And we are all aware of the problems that face SMEs in Africa generally. So what I decided to look at was brand equity. And rather than looking at the challenges faced by SMEs generally in branding, I looked at the challenges they're facing in building brand equity. So a little bit about Eastern Africa. We're all kind of very similar. When it comes to natural resources, we have a substantial amount. We have copper, gold, oil, and other minerals. Also, agriculture is very, very key in all our countries' economies, from tea to coffee to sim. You find it in Eastern Africa. We also have a wealth of GIs, and they've been covered most of the time. And our industrial sector is being rehabilitated, and right now we domestically produce consumer goods. And 90% of our economies are run by SMEs in all our countries. Maybe there are also very few SMEs that use IPRs. And also, it's not really an issue of not using the IPRs. We also find that some of them are using trademarks, but they're not even aware that they are using a word such as trademarks, but they are using them. And also, we have found that some companies use intellectual property rights, but they have not been able to build brand equity. Brand equity is an intangible asset. Basically, an example of brand equity was illustrated here. If I had a Samsung phone that had the word Samsung and a similar phone without the word Samsung, most people will pay a substantial amount of money for the branded phone. And that is how you're able to measure your brand equity. Also, if you have a successful product brand, you can use it as a platform to launch other products. We have seen it with Coca-Cola. When you look at the bottles of Minute Maid, Fanta, and Spaletta, you will notice there is an inscription, a product of Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola has become such a huge brand, it can be used to launch other products. So what we realized, these are just some of the most valuable brands as they stand today. Apple is at $128 billion. The challenges we face with the SMEs that are using branding but are not building on their equity, most of the problems started from the ground up. Developing your strategy, Ms. Tunu has expounded on that, so I won't go into that. Also choosing the right brand hierarchy. It's advisable that if an SME has limited resources, they should concentrate on one or two brands at the beginning. And brand hierarchy is basically how you relate all your product brands with the rest of the company, the corporate brand. And you can choose to go corporate dominant, where you will have, let me say you have, I'll illustrate that with an example from East Africa actually. Also, the other issue is that they lack consistency, and they have also failed to evolve with the times. I'll use an illustration of multinational companies. And also, most SMEs advertise through word of mouth, newspaper adverts, and brochures, and they have not been able to capitalize on the digital era, because with the digital era, you're able to get feedback from your customers. And if you brand management, it's very important to get feedback so that you can know how your brand is doing. So one of the challenges I'll illustrate with Pepsi. In building brand equity, it's important to use a combination of intellectual property rights, especially for SMEs in Eastern Africa with a wealth of GIs.